As you know, every month I do a market recap video where I show you some of my investments I've been making as well as all the sales I made in the prior month. But this time I really want to up the value because I really believe we are in a very tight, fleeting window of opportunity as sports card investors to maximize our profit in the next few weeks. So I'll show you all the usual stuff, but I'm also going to go over some of the market trends of the hottest cards in soccer, baseball, football, and basketball, and give you some reasons why I believe in the next 2 to 3 weeks, this is the prime opportunity to invest while everyone else is just on the sideline and waiting for Christmas. With that being said, welcome back. Now let's get to work. All right, guys, if you take a look here at the bottom, this is my first sale in October. This Sebastian Aho rookie card I bought for $11.25 back in May, sold for $36, got $34. Really good profit margin. This Anthony Davis third-year Prism card I sent in, and I probably paid no more than $1 or $1.50 for, sold for $7. Jarrett Stidham Silver Prism, which was great. And it was great because I just saw that it was so cheap at 25 bucks for a silver that I knew I'd be able to make at least 10 or 20 bucks off of it. But it sold, look at this, I bought it on the 27th of September, sold just 6 days later for 65 bucks, got about 61 back. Russell Wilson, I bought a few of these in the off season because, you know, for $8 of a Russell Wilson rookie card, no matter what it is, I felt that was a good price, and I sold it for 27, got 25. And a couple more cards here, nothing spectacular, small stuff, very, very little. And then onto the next page. Here it continues again, and this is when Jarrett Stidham was actually stepping in for Brian Hoyer when Cam Newton went down, and it looked like Stidham was gonna be someone decent. And I'm glad I bought him for so little because for $8.65 I paid for his Prism here, sold it for $28, $14, and now I'm actually looking at buying a few more because they've gotten so low in price because he didn't show much. And let's see here, David Robinson, a random jersey card, a couple bucks, nothing big, but as you see, it's the 8th of October, the 10th, very few cards, and just small stuff. Like this Russell Wilson here, this was exciting because if you saw that other video I have 46 of these complete sets. So I have 46 Russell Wilsons, I have 46 Tom Brady's, 46 Peyton Manning's, and the fact that one of them sold for 29 bucks and I paid 7 here, I'll take that all day. And as you know, I'm really big into first year select because it doesn't look like a damn burrito wrapper like Prism does. This one is another I sent in, this Ken Griffey refractor, and I remember buying a couple of these on Beckham Marketplace for maybe 4 or 5 bucks max. And I sent them in, and the first one sold for $14.75. I got 14 back. So if I could buy cards for $3 or $4 on Beckett or other sources and send it in and make a 2 to 3x profit, it's great. And that's exactly what happened here with this Mike Tyson card. I don't think I paid more than $1.50 for this card, and you see the condition. It's a bit beat up. It's not in great shape. It's a cool card though. I mean, if you take a look, I mean, it's Mike Tyson balling out, and to sell that one for $5.50, $5.60, I'll take it. Stephon Marbury, Tom Brady serial numbered card. This one's pretty big. This was a Rob Gronkowski card. I think it's hideous. It's very like 90s, but not in a classy way. But it does have his jersey on it. It is numbered to only 4. It's 4 out of 4, and I bought it for 29, sold for 57. I'm glad to get out of that. And again, if it doesn't have a price here, that means that I sent it into ComC. So some of the orders are actually getting through, which is a nice change. Antonio Brown, he's on the Bucks now. Hopefully he'll be getting some touchdown passes from TB12. And that's about it. I mean, you look up here, it's the 22nd of October already. A couple Kobe cards have entered the system. This Randy Moss refractor I sold for $18.50. I think the day after I uploaded it into the system, and all these up here were Kobe cards I'd sent in. So $4, $4.75. This one right here, I believe this skybox and this holographics was from that Kobe Bryant lot that I bought off of eBay for 180 bucks. And you know, if I could sell 1 or 2 at a time for a few dollars, I'll get my money back, and then a decent profit after that. very little. And then as you see at the top, a couple more Kobe's, and that's pretty much it. That was my whole month. We're at the 31st, and then now all of a sudden we're at the 1st of November. So very small amount of sales on COMC. On eBay, I only sold 2 cards as well. I was happy to sell this Braden Point rookie card. I sold a ton of them in September, and that was the majority of my profit last month. But for this month, one of them sold, and then this Peyton Manning BCCG card that I bought back when I didn't even know what grading companies to consider. I bought for, I think, about 20, 25 bucks and sold for 75. And going on over here, this is just the breakdown, right? So sales on COMC, the cards that were on there already, I bought for $195.80. Let's see if I can highlight that. There we go. And then the cards I uploaded, I'm averaging at $2.75 because all those cards off of Beckett, some of them are as cheap as 50 cents, some at $5, $6. But when I average all the cards, it's roughly $2.20 plus 50 cents to upload to COMC. So that's my $2.75 average. So this would be the cost of all the cards that there was no price thereof. That's what I'm averaging. And $2.70 would be the total I paid. $4.66 profit on COMC. Very low month compared to prior months, but that's okay. And then my 2 eBay sales, paid $25 for the Manning. That's about a 64 total of what I got back. 39 in profit. The Braden Point rookie card, which is still one of my best investments I've ever made, paid $40, sold for $160, $120 profit. That's $199 from eBay. And so my total profit for October was $665. Very low compared to what September and August were. Let's go over some trends in the market, and this is really exciting because if you take a look here, these are different Trae Young rookie cards I have pulled up on Card Ladder, and if you take a look at the last couple months, you see a lot of the cards were higher here in August over the past month, most of which have been very flat, and a couple have gone a bit up in value, others maybe down a little bit. But let's take a look at the next one, and you see this even more, and this is Luka. So we have Luka's Optic and Prism and BGS 9.5 and 10, his hoops. And I wanted to pull up cards with a lot of transactions behind them so we could really see what's going on a day-to-day and weekly basis. But again, August time, there was a lot more going on. Then it really flattened out. And then look at Luka towards the end here. It appears that his prices have started going back up for a couple of the cards, just in the last few sales, but overall pretty flat. Next one is 2012 Prism. So we have Anthony Davis's rookie cards, Damian Lillard, Kawhi Leonard, Kyrie Irving, and Klay Thompson. And again, you see a lot going on here in August. Once it was September 15, 16, everything pretty much was flat. And then now towards the end, let's see what we got going on this month. We have some dropping, some peaking towards the very end or just starting to go back up. The next one we see is Zion, and you see this green one here at the top that is skewing the graph. That is a silver BGS 9.5. I already eliminated his PSA 10 because I wanted to see what the lower end cards were doing. And as you see here, a lot higher in August, kind of flattened a bit. And at the end, these prices for the most part are a lot lower than a couple months ago. If I look at 1 month out, pretty flat. This one right here is Kobe Bryant's rookie card. So his finest, his Topps Chrome, Bowman's Best in these different rankings, SP as well. And we take a look here, a lot higher in August, a lot cooler now in the last month. Moving on to baseball, these are some of the most popular cards that I pulled up on Market Movers to see how many were sold. You see the number of sales here. Tatis, Alonso, Jimenez. I wanted to throw in a Ken Griffey just because he's iconic. But a lot of these guys, again, higher in August. And if you take a look at these last numbers here in October, much lower than the starting point from the majority of the cards. This one right here is just Mike Trout. So take a look at some of these cards here. We scroll on up, and again, we saw a lot more towards the beginning. If you look at the right, some of them are pretty even as to what they began with in August, but for the most part, it's on the way down. And for football, I wanted to bring up just Patrick Mahomes because he was hyped very high before the season began, but he's also lived up to it, and the Kansas City Chiefs are rolling. So even here though, take a look, a lot of the prices, this purple one here, the Prism, what's this, a Prism Silver BGS9, the blue one right here, his Donruss PSA 10, these are still higher earlier before the season began than they are now, in spite of him and the Chiefs doing so well. Lastly, I wanted to show you this chart, and this one is the most drastic. Can you guess what this is? And the answer is soccer. These are Messi, Mbappe by Hansen, Cristiano Ronaldo again. And again, these are just popular cards that had a lot of volume behind them. In the last 3 months, you see August was insane, and then in the last month, pretty much down, like still going down for the most part. As we can see from the charts, a lot of cards of current players really peaked before games were actually played. And in August, that was just the perfect example where things were about to get underway. Playoffs were about to start with the NBA. The NFL season was getting closer and closer, and we just saw all of this hype, all this emotion go into the card prices. And so the learning lesson for me is that a lot of cards can peak at the highest point of hype, not necessarily the merit. And when we look at LeBron James, we look at Anthony Davis, a lot of their cards, if not all of them, are lower now or lower right when they won the NBA Finals than before, when just the thought of them winning the finals propelled their prices to stupidly high levels. With that being said, I really believe that the next 2, maybe 3 weeks is the last opportunity to invest at great prices. And that's for a whole bunch of reasons. And the first one is because we have an election coming up. And people are always fearful before elections because you don't know if it goes to that party, is it going to be job losses? If it's going to be this party, are we going to have another world war? It's always like some sort of fear attached to elections because elections mean change and people are afraid of change. But I feel that no matter who wins, there's going to be a level of comfort that will be restored because of all of the chaos that always goes on during election season. And another thing to keep in mind is that we're not the only country that invests in sports cards. Just here in the community, I know there's guys from Costa Rica and Australia and Korea and the UK and Canada. Well, it's like, hey, if our economy is not thriving, it doesn't mean that people from other countries aren't wanting to invest and collect for themselves. Another factor is that I believe a second round of stimulus checks will eventually come. And yes, it keeps getting pushed back, and I don't know if it's going to be in December or January or February, but with that looming, I want to make sure that I have cards to sell to those people that get their stimulus checks, because if everyone has an extra $1,200 or $2,000 to spend, all of a sudden, if I'm on eBay, I might have 30 other people watching and bidding up that card versus just me. The third reason is that the NBA is trying to get started in December. I read an article on ESPN saying that if they were to push back their start until January, they could lose up to $1 billion in revenue. And of course, players don't want to have such a short off season, but they probably want to make their money, especially when the average career is just a couple years. So I would not be surprised if they get started in December, but worst case scenario, they probably get started in January, and we're still only just a few months away from that. So remember, hype will be getting very high just in a couple weeks. Number 4 is that we are entering holiday season. And look, September, October are usually slow months because summer's over, kids are in school, the traveling has stopped, and people have got to save up for the holidays knowing that there's always extra expenses. It's, all right, I might get a bonus from work, but I also have to buy gifts for this person, that person, this person. And when you think of it, look, I know people are struggling financially and maybe not as much money will be spent this holiday season versus last year and the year before, but in this hobby, I guarantee you there will be more eBay gift cards, CompC store credit, StarStock store credit, singles, boxes, all this kind of stuff that will be bought this year in a bad economy or a bit of a down economy than last year and the year before when the economy was thriving, but the hobby wasn't nearly as big. Imagine how many fathers and sons, fathers and daughters, or even mothers and sons, mothers and daughters will be opening boxes of cards this Christmas as a new activity because now they have something to bond over. Combine all these factors, and I believe that now up until Thanksgiving is our window to invest, because if you think of shopping malls and all these retail centers and even commercials on TV, it goes from nice and dandy, grateful and warm holidays with your family and have that nice meal together and all the important things in life. All that stuff gets taken down. The pumpkins are gone, the leaves are gone, all that free crap is gone, and it goes from that to, as Justin Timberlake used to say, so that means we have up until Thanksgiving before we are bombarded with holiday spending commercials and news and all that kind of stuff. So I'd rather be one step ahead and stock up. And that's why in October, I bought over 170 sports cards just on Comp C. Some of them are actually quite expensive, at least for me. So let me show you some of the cards I got and some of the reasoning why I got each one. This was a month of stocking up. So you see here on the bottom right, 10-2, I got a second year Luka, I got Trae Young rookies. Any cards that I felt were underpriced that would be easy sales at some point. And this one right here, this intrigues me a lot. This is a second year, I guess I'll blow it up. This is a second year Luka card, but his first year Mosaic, which came out last year. And I think what draws me to this card is that no matter what, it's a second year Luka. So it doesn't matter if Mosaic takes off or doesn't, if people get tired of it, no matter what, it's still a second year card. And when I paid $7.45 for this compared to $20 for a second year Prism, I kind of like the upside of the Mosaic, to be honest, for that price point. If they were both $7.45, I would take the Prism all day long. But I kind of like the fact that no matter what, it's second year Luka, but if Mosaic catches on, then I got an extra upside right there. Interesting one right here, first year of Kevin Durant in the Brooklyn jersey. With Anthony Davis in the Lakers jersey and Kawhi in the Clippers, there was a point where those sold really well and then the prices just plummeted. And I think that's a very get on the bandwagon type of card. It's not something that can sustain, but for $1.75, if I can flip that to $4 or $5 with a few clicks, I'm fine with it. A couple other cards, Jarrett Stidham is still a guy I'm intrigued with if the price is low. I honestly feel like I overpaid at $9.50 for his optic because I was seeing that his Prism rookies are about $9.50 now. Victor Oladipo for his Prism rookie, $15.60. And just remember that everything comes down to what I'm paying for the card. And even here, Markelle Fultz, which I'll show you in a bit, more of his cards, I'm just doing research as to who I believe can emerge next season and then comparing that towards the price I'm paying. So Luka cards, now this is interesting here. Luka second year Prism peaked at around 50 or 60 bucks last year. So I'm looking at his second year Prism inserts, and for $2, right? $2.10, I'm like, well, could that go up to $8, $10? And I believe it can. On to the next week, you see here more of the Luka inserts. This one right here is his dominance card. That was only $2.25. Another Mosaic for $5. I'm just paying very little. I'm not gonna pay a lot. Pascal Siakam's another guy I looked at a lot because I wanted to see how low his prices would go. But then on this page, and yes, you see here, $38 for a Pascal Siakam Prism rookie. I feel like that's a great price. But Trae Young, freshman phenoms. What's interesting about this is this is his rookie year. This is not a second year card. And his Prism rookie is a fortune, but a Prism insert of Trae Young during his rookie year is still just a couple bucks. And if you see here, I paid $3.50 for it. To me, as long as Trae Young keeps evolving and maturing and becoming a star, $3.50 for any rookie year card should go up. Moving on to October 16th, and we'll start at the bottom here with this 2014-15 Select Giannis card. And I like it because his rookie cards are expensive. Second year Prism is pretty pricey, but Select ought to have a much lower print run, and I just think it's a better looking card. And I paid $25 for it. But if you look at the sales data here, you get to see how many have sold by quarter. But this is what matters to me, is the most it sold for was $107 back in, what's that, June, March, April, May, June 28th. And so if I could pay $25 for the card, then I feel very confident that I can get out at $25, worst case scenario, but perhaps double that to 50 quite easily. Moving on to Markelle Fultz, and look, I know he was a first round pick, he was number 1 overall, he has sucked, he's been injured, but I've been reading articles about how he's looking better in Orlando, he's returning to form, and do I expect him to be amazing? No, but what I expect is that for a high risk, high reward investment, it's $1.25. You know, I buy a handful of these. If they don't sell, it's not the end of the world. If he does suck, if he does get injured, it's not the end of the world. But for guys like him, I will spend very little because I don't have much faith. But that's also why I don't mind taking the occasional gamble. Over here, Jason Tatum's second-year Prism card. And again, I like the second-year Prisms just because we're seeing that's selling. We're seeing it with Luka, we're seeing it with LeBron, we're seeing it with all these guys where if you can get it at a cheap price, which as you see here, $3.50 for a second-year Jason Tatum Prism card, that's basically nothing. Moving on to the following week, and you see here there's a couple Kawhi Leonard cards. I think he's just been completely forgotten about after that disappointing playoff run with the Clippers. But this is still a $3 card. I mean, this is a fantastic Wave Prism. It's not just the base card, and yet it's $3 of Kawhi Leonard. And Vegas still has the Clippers quite high in terms of winning it all next year. And I expect him to be back, but he's a quiet guy. He flies under the radar. And then, of course, Damian Lillard, safe bet, $14.65 for this Hoops card. It's not in the best shape, but you know, sometimes I buy out of boredom, but I feel like $14 for a Hoops of Lillard, that can easily be a $30 card by Christmas time. And then lastly, you see here last week, I went in on second-year Select of Jason Tatum because, again, $3.60, $3.64, couple cards that are just very low that have proven sales a lot higher. And for a guy like Jason Tatum, Trae Young, those are the guys I really want to target, but find they're undervalued cards. Obviously, that was just a fraction of the 170 cards I bought last month. There are many others in that $10 to $50 range that I bought multiples of, like 10 or 15 or even 20 of. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna send a list of all 176 cards to my newsletter subscribers in the next couple days. So if you'd like to see the entire list as well as what I paid for the cards and some of the rationale and reasoning behind it, just sign up on the comebackcardinvestor.com and look out for that email. I'll probably send it around November 9th or November 10th just to give you some time. Also, if ComC is a platform you're not too familiar with, but you'd like to start mastering, check out this video up here and I'll see you over there.